Today, I got another game I want to show you that has two very interesting shape positions. And the first of these positions has a move that we're seeing more and more played by AI. And the second position is just one of those, how the hell do I use this Aji kind of position to make shape? And, these are both very real-world positions that you will run into these sorts of things. So I hope you enjoy and learn something from looking at them. All right, so this is the first one. I'm white in this game, and we play, just to show you, let's back up a couple moves. Here, where's my mouse? Mouse. Go back a couple moves. I was playing this version of the Joseki. The robot actually likes this one a little bit better, but whatever, it's close enough. Again, most people here are playing this one. This is also fine. Like, these are all variations of basically the same idea, where white gets something over here and black gets something over here. Everybody settles. It's been the new hotness now for the last, I don't know how many years, since the advent of AI beating Lee Sedol. So these are all little variations on the basic same idea. Black just backs off. And I play here. It turns out I should totally make this exchange. And so this is a mistake. But it brings us to an interesting shape problem? How does white make shape here now? And I'll show you how I did it in the game. And this is wrong. So just to give you context, I just decided. I said, look, your black's really small. I'm fine. I'll just make shape and have a strong group. And this black group, this is perhaps the key element that led me to making this kind of shape in this game. Black's group is not as solid as mine. And there's actually very much a key point right here and another one over here. Basically, if white gets either of these, black has to take the other one. If white gets both of these, this black group is just suffering. So white has two places to essentially attack and poke. Of course, if the left group needs more strength, we want to aim at this one. If the left group is fine, then we want to aim at probably this one. Well, this is actually still a key point. Actually, we still almost always want to go after this one first, because it's such an important point for black to make shape. If black doesn't have this point, black has no shape. Or if black has this, what did I just say? I can't even speak English anymore. Doesn't matter. We all know why we're here. We're looking for a move that's better than this for white to make shape. And I don't think we need to talk about the rest of the game board very much. Everything else is pretty simple. There is a little bit of this question of this group over here. And this was also on my mind. I didn't really want to touch this group because I was like, if I'm strong over here, I can undercut this. I can invade and mess with this group. Because this black group is not really settled yet, as the game progresses. So what should white do? What should white play? Well, hopefully you've all had your best thoughts right now, and I'll just show you some alternatives. One of which is here, and this move is not bad. Another one is here. This is the second one. Let me use different shapes. The squared one is very hante, very like super proper, solid style, like a little bit almost polite. Like this is a very polite way to make shape. It's actually probably worse than this one, to be frank, though. Again, white could play here directly. Like, these are all possible. But they're not quite what the robot likes. And so the best one is here. And I like to call this the armpit hit, because we normally have shoulder hits like this. We have the third line stone being hit on its shoulder on the fourth line. Well, this is a fourth line stone being hit diagonally from underneath, so it's an armpit hit. And I've been calling this an armpit hit for, well over a decade now. This goes back to late aughts. Yeah, because I was still, when we were talking about armpit hits. And they're interesting because historically, in general, pro players don't play them, or haven't played them very much. Like, they're not, like, you'll see them, like, they're not so rare that they never happen, but they're not the moves that pro players would aim for. But with the advent of AI and robots, you see them coming back. Like, they're totally in style and fashion and considered good in a lot of cases. And in this case, at first glance, it seems like to my like Go playing eye, like this kind of offends my eye a little bit, because black's going to play here. And now all of a sudden we've just taken this group that I could undercut, and seems like we've made it much more solid. And that might be true, but the next move is also important. White needs to play another follow-up here. And again, now this is, whoops, no, I don't, no, don't delete anything. Go, I want to just erase. I'm going to stand up here. And this is pushing from behind, right? This is always bad. And like white is just playing into black's initiative. Black can just stand and become really solid, or Hane and do some sort of or inviting a fight sort of sequence, or even Tanuki, right? Like we're pushing from behind, we're a move behind. And this is okay. That's perhaps the key. That even though for a lot of us who played Go and learned through these, different sort of proverbs and axioms and just concepts, these ideas, these heuristics for how to play the game, this is okay. Pushing from behind here is okay, because we're going to actually look at black's options. First option for black is to play here. This seems like black is in a good position, but it's actually not true. And the reason is because, number one, there's still this invasion point. Black can't defend both sides. This is actually just totally fine for white to just undercut. So this is not real points yet. And second, even if all these points turn into black, let's see, potentially we have 12 points here for black. This is over-concentrated. And so white stones on the outside are actually much more efficient. Even though black is strong-ish and can make a solid 12 points with one extra move, it's just black has already played 6 stones for 12 points. It's not efficient enough. And so we don't mind these exchanges. Like if black is super strong, that's fine. Let's look at one of the alternatives. Let's say black Hanes. You Hane right back. And assuming black blocks, you can just connect. And this kind of stresses black out because, number one, there's still a clamp. There's actually a cut that works. And there's still this cut. Like black still kind of owes a move to fix. And the best move for black to fix, I think, is here. But that doesn't really fix everything. Like there's still this move. And so black's shape ends up being over-concentrated again. Is there a way to fix everything? Not really. I mean, if you play there, there's still this cut. And look, you can't actually take away white's eyes. White is fine. Black can get a bigger corner and totally make this safe. Yes, we did not continue the original idea of keeping this group weak. But this is gote for black. So black has to invest some time in doing so. And meanwhile, this shape for black is really over-concentrated, assuming it lives just fine. And, oh man, like it still can be messed with. So this isn't a real concern. And if black, let's say, takes Sente, no problem. We're actually happy to apply some pressure here. Because black, again, is going to be over-concentrated for very few points. We're going to have 5 stones here that black has to keep responding to. Even if it goes something like this, I think that's probably fine. There's a ladder here. Maybe white wants to play something over here eventually or defend directly. But white's actually getting out, can still come back and play this for lots of points later. These stones on the outside will totally make the invasion at the bottom possible. And black still hasn't fixed this point. Like we still have that as an invasion. So is black going to play here now and defend? Well, great. Now I might be really tempted to play here, or even actually probably just here. This is just, good shape as well. Although this is big. I don't know what's biggest. It doesn't matter. Like we have the momentum. That's what's important. Like we were actually able to solidify our group in Sente, and so we can go on from there. Okay. So anyway, that's the basic concept is that we're seeing these armpit hits a lot more frequently, especially where it leads to an over-concentrated position on our opponent that we can still mess with. And it's just a spacing thing. It's just like, this is just a great spacing for this to work out. Like this is a pristine example of that time where we can push from behind, we can armpit hit, and our opponent still has issues. Even though there's so many stones here, this is not solid yet. So, how many of you said the armpit hit as your shape point? If you did, you might be very strong, or you just might be guessing and get it right. Who knows which one is the case? All right, I'm going to fast forward here in the game. And we make a bunch of exchanges. I play this attachment, which is not the best one, but in this case here, I should just probably push through and try to fight here directly. Keep that in mind. That's going to be a key later. And we make all sorts of exchanges here, looking for shape. And peep, and black comes here. Okay, now let's talk about the global board position a little bit more. First of all, notice that this black group status really hasn't changed. I'm still hoping to find a way to mess with it. And so that's one of the reasons why I was tending this group and trying to keep it strong on the outside. Also, we have this corner group. This is not alive. Right now, this is effectively an L+1. So if at any point white says, I don't want you to have two eyes, white can do that. Black only has one eye now. But we're not ready to do that yet. There's still stuff to be played out here. So keep that in mind. There's a almost weakish group over here, kind of an unknown group over here. And furthermore, there's also this group here. And, you know, white could say, hey, I want to cut you off. But white has to take gote to do it. And so by taking that gote, you know, it certainly feels like black will probably play there. And we'd have to continue maybe this, or maybe this way first. Yeah. I don't know, and then come back. Like, it's okay. Everybody kind of gets a little something, but this cut doesn't really feel powerful right now. Like, it feels like this group has a little bit too much going for it, and it's black's move. So maybe black can spend a move over here, or even just, you know, finish making perfect shape. Actually, no. Black should do none of this. None of this. All this is probably better to come after the top now. After black gets some strength and some helper stones to help this group, black should totally go after the top. All right, so that's sort of like one version of reality, where if white just says, I want to attack something, yes, white can attack something, but there's not a lot of momentum behind it. And so what we're really looking for is a way to take advantage of black's shape. This is one of those cases where we're not really playing a shape move directly, we're looking to spoil our opponent's shape. And the question is how to do that. And this is going to be very Tetsuji-like. Like this is total Tetsuji style move. All right, did you come up with something good? So we're looking for a move that's going to actually take advantage of our opponent's bad shape. It's going to have repercussions throughout the entire board. And that's what's so amazing about any of these next few sequences. And so the move to do that, the best one, is here. Now we'll rewind for a second. You could start here and make these exchanges, but this might define the shape a little bit too much in a case where you don't have to. And so this is also almost equally as good. The robot really doesn't like giving up all this Aji all at once. And so the robot says this is the best one. And very clearly you can see if black defends on this side, well, this is just a problem for black. Like, super mega problem. Like, you can't play this as black and expect to win the game. Kind of problem. You just give up the entire bottom over here, and all of a sudden that weak group in the bottom left is super weak. So you can't really defend there. Likewise, if black defends this way, this is also a problem. White will start by asking here. And black has a couple options, but realistically, this is the one I'd expect. If black plays something like this, that's fine. But again, black loses the entire bottom. These two black stones are dead. So this is the one that we really care about. We make this exchange, and we're going to throw in, and we're just going to connect. And it's a very subtle like connection. I mean, black can disconnect. This is terrible for black for so many reasons. The first of which is that there's a very weak point here now. Like, this stone very effectively attacks this dumpling as well as the rest of the stones here. But perhaps even more importantly, white has this move. And this makes black just, this is a wet the pants kind of move. Like white just has 4 stones on here, but it's enough to kill all these black stones. This move is a little bit stronger, as is this one, but they kind of have a similar effect. And I'll show you that again, if black plays this move to defend. Oh, actually, sorry. This move does not work now. Now we need to, if black defends with these better ways to defend, white can't quite be so aggressive. But white has a very good follow-up to Tsuji here. This wedge works. And it's going to work almost the exact same way. We're not going to descend. We're just going to Atari. And let's assume our opponent takes. And again, we disconnect. If our opponent wants to disconnect, okay, we're leaving a weakness there. We can take this. Again, we might time that later for a co-threat, but not really important. The idea now is that we have a very direct fight between this group, and let's change the color, and my group here. I just erased it. Oh, man. But the important thing is I have Sente, right? That's perhaps the biggest key takeaway. So, if you just want to make shape here and come out this way, or even split this group and this group, whatever you want to do, white has the initiative doing it. If we go back a second and we don't make this exchange, and I just play a move like this, or even like this, and I don't ever make use of this Aji, well, in this case, black's connected, so that's real bad. So I have to play this way. If I want to disconnect, it's now black's turn to play. Like, black is the one who gets the initiative. And this is like such a subtle distinction that's so important. Like these situations are almost identical, right? That this white group is facing off, here, I'll use my pen again correctly and not erase it, facing off against this black group. Like, that's the fight that's going on. But in this case, it's black's move to move first. That's a big difference. In the other case, oops, where's the, okay. When we play here, whoops, and we play here, there we go. Oh, and if black is tricky and plays on this side, that's fine. You play this way. Do the same thing. Now, as the moment, you could say, well, it's black's move. So black still gets the first move. But here's the important distinction. Black hasn't cut white yet. So like these two variations have the exact same dynamic, right? It's orange group versus green group. But green group isn't even separated yet. How can black fight? It's like white can continue to do things and only end up responding after, black threatens to cut or do something else, right? Like we can manage. And again, if this is how it goes and white gets this line of stones out, now all of a sudden this group is in jeopardy too. Right? Remember, this is an L+1. So, if black does anything else, this kills if black is surrounded. It's an amazing little shape point. Like it's brutal. But you got to find this one to find this cut. Let me get rid of all this color in order to make this work. Oh, whoops. Yeah, if black plays here, we just continue. We force the situation. Like this move looks very solid. It looks very patient. It doesn't matter. We can still force the same variation. And that's what's so cool. Maybe you're thinking, oh, but black will connect and disconnect this way. Well, I mean, maybe. But first of all, you're giving up a lot to do so. And second, we still have this Aji over here. This is some difficult Aji for black to deal with. Like, ow. Like, that just hurts, right? How do you deal with this? I don't know. Like, you're just dead. Like, you're just toast. Ugh, scary for black. So there are other defenses here. Yeah, they basically all transpose to this cut variation after this wedge. So anyway, going back here, white has some very nice opportunities to essentially disrupt the flow of this game, right? Instead of this game being, this group versus the top group, and this group versus this white group, we can get like one move ahead with finding one of these weaknesses in black's shape. And if you can find it and follow up on it, oh man, you're going to start winning a lot of games. These can be hard reading. These can be hard, complicated things, but you got to kind of have a little bit of a nose for it. And my failure this game was that I kept reading it and I kept thinking about it in terms of a reduction, and not as a middle game fighting weakness. I was like, oh, maybe there's things I can do to get this group around and reduce more of these points later because of this Aji, but that was the wrong way to think about it. It really is getting that one extra half move ahead of your opponent to, change that whole middle game dynamic. And if you can find little tempo moves like that, oh man, you're gonna be so hard nosed on the go board. So anyway, did you find either of those shape points? Right, the shoulder hit, which is still available, or throwing in here again. If you want to start here, you can do that. It's not quite the same sequence, but the effect is the same. You can still actually get it the same way, assuming black responds appropriately enough. So even if you start here, this is still a good answer, but you gotta be able to find this point and this wedge. If you can get there, then you're still in good shape. You can see actually now why it's not as good from that last variation I showed, where if we just played over here and black just comes down like this, this is much stronger for black now, right? We can't actually just kill all this, so, or at least not easily. Well, actually, can't kill it at all. So that's that. You can see that you give all that up if you start on this side, whereas if you just start with this cut, you preserve some of those really nasty variations. Okay. When this video posts, I'm posting another video at the same time that's very exciting and has nothing to do with Go. It's because I wrote a book. So go check on the other video and learn more about it there if you want. Again, it has nothing to do with Go. So I'm just posting it because I'm proud of my work and I want to share it with people, I guess. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.